Hi, it's Karen from Black Swan Journals. Today I'm working in my winter journal and thought I would join in on Junk Journal January 2024, created by the fantastic and fun Meg Journals. I will link her channel below. And every January she does a daily prompt. Today is the 10th of January, and the prompt is layered. And I've only done the first few pages in the winter journal so far. And we're gonna work on this page today. It happens to be the next one in line, and I also really like the way it looks. It's a win-win. So here's some things that I'm going to end up using today and making that little self-closing envelope. And using these things here. I love this cedar waxwing, but he doesn't end up making the cut today. He will definitely show up in future videos. And that winter, vintage image of winter, I end up coloring that. And also using the paper beneath with the roses. And here's some distress oxides we'll be using today, and the colors that I'm using. Use whatever makes you happy. So I'm going to use some markers to color that in, and they're water-based markers. They're called Ecoline, and you can use them for hand lettering, coloring, all types of things. But here, this is what I usually do. I'll take the markers and swatch them out, and then I'll put them in order of how I swatch them up in front of me. And then that way, if I forget what they look like, I have a little chart, a little swatch chart right there. Also, if I had a little swatch chart in the basket, I could just pull that out and use that. And that's the smarter thing to do, really. But I haven't made one, so I just do that. Anyhow, so I end up not loving how bright and neon some of the colors come out. The blue and the green. I think it's really pretty, but for the particular page I'm working on, I feel like it's a little harsh, a little bright. So I have a way that I tone that down coming up here soon. But so yeah, I just go ahead and color in all the little white parts, and even up on the top on the branches, I'll go over it with some marker up there as well. You could keep that black, or whatever color you print it out as. But I just choose to pop it out with a little bit of marker color. And over there, I had a little something on my marker, and I was just sort of like rolling it off on the paper to get rid of it. So I do like how it came out. I think it's really pretty, but I think it's a little neon for what I'm doing. So I tone it down by going over it with the lightest marker, the one that's kind of like a nude, fleshy tone color, kind of like a creamy tan or something there on the left. But here I have a few digitals. This one I've had in my stash for so long, the one with the pink roses. I can't remember whose it is. I've probably had it for like 7 years. But the winter image is from the Graphics Fairy, and the stag, I don't know, is that a stag? That really nice looking sort of elk deer sort of male buck thing. He also came from the Graphics Fairy. And then the image of the woman, that's a Tim Holtz paper doll. So here I'm deciding how I want to use this winter piece. And I thought I was kind of in the mood to be simple today, which I have to say, a lot of times I really layer it up like crazy. If you look at some of my other videos, my journals can like get super chunky because I'm quite the adorner. I can really layer it up. But even though this video is about layered, I'm sharing my process with you about foreground and background, coming up with the lady and the stag. But so here I was fussy cutting out, and I just was in a simple kind of mood. So I didn't want to layer too heavy today, but nonetheless, I wanted to express how you can layer paper dolls and my simple process, my thought process of doing that. But on the fussy cutting, I kind of went in stages because I was in the mood to just do less work today. Other times I'll go to the ends of the earth and do work because it's relaxing and I don't mind it. But today I was just in the mood to do less and be more simple. So I chose to try to cut out the winter slower in stages and ended up cutting it quite a bit, but wanted to see if I could get away with less. So here, um, I'm playing with, do I want the stag in the background or the foreground? Do I want the lady in the background or the foreground? And I really love the stag image and don't want to lose it. I really love the lady and don't want to lose her. So I play back and forth with both. And I really love her dress and her image, and I really want to highlight her and see her in the front. But when I play with that and test it out, the stag just seems awkward. I don't know, the size of the stag and the size of the paper doll. One fix of this could be you could play with the sizing on your printer of the stag if you have that skill, and it's not hard to do at all. It's just like a percentage area on every printer has that, and you can shrink it or make it a little larger. You can't go too crazy unless it's a vector image, but you can play around a little bit with sizes. But anyhow, um, I didn't do that. I just cut it out the way that it was given to me from the graphics fairy and decided to use it with her. And it was sort of, on the fly, not like a planned out thing and print it the way I want it. So, yeah, just kind of playing until I like what's happening. So I decide that I do want the stag in front, only because to me it it looked a little awkward when she was in the front because of the size and proportion of the two together in that manner. But it ends up going really, really well because I adorn the stag as if it were her prized possession. And it comes out adorable. um, anyhow, I used to take care of horses, somebody else's horses, for 12 years. And I used to blanket them in the winter when it's really cold. And I just got this idea to give this stag a blanket and make him really special. So, anyhow, I wanted to let you know that when you're playing around with your composition, like we were earlier, you can make little pencil lines on your paper to mark where you had everything. I'm showing you here. That's what I did. I marked under her hand and under her skirt, and then I also marked under the stag's feet, his hooves, if whatever. And now, just if you wanted to get really technical, and there's no need to in junk journaling at all, and just have fun with it. There's really no pressure, and just, have fun with it. But if you really wanted to be technical about layering, since this is called layered, this prompt, I just wanted to mention that normally I would have left the stag, his antlers not chopped off the way I was just cutting them a minute ago, and just glued them behind her. But because it's called layered, I wanted to explain that in doing that, it would mess up the foreground background balance and the layering would be off in that manner. Um, I realize layering can mean just layering things up, and who cares if it's in the proper foreground and background? I just thought I'd take this opportunity and share that knowledge with you just in case you're interested. So, as I play more and more with this, I'm realizing that she absolutely loves this stag and it's her prized possession. She's having her photo taken, she's having a painting of herself with it, and she absolutely adores it. So let's adorn this stag and take advantage of losing the dress and find that silver lining. So I play around with some lace and some velvet ribbons to see if I can create a pretty blanket for this very much loved stag. And the lace was a little short, so then I try out the ribbon, and the ribbon was a little short. So I thought, well, let's put them together. And now it's looking like a very special, pretty lace blanket for this stag. And I give it even more later. We're going to give him a little pretty necklace later on. But anyhow, here we are. We're going to make this self-closing envelope. It's just an origami envelope. It's nothing new, but I'm just wanting to make one here for my journal. And just in case you are wanting to learn how, I thought I would show you. So you can take any square piece of paper, and this one is 9 inches square. And you basically put it on an angle, like a diamond, like I did, and you fold it up to the top, meet the corners, give it a crease, then fold the top corner down to the middle and give that a crease. And I wanted to mention that after you perfect your first one, keep it as a template for future ones. But here I'm just showing you. I do that myself, but it's a little, you're just kind of feeling here. But what you're doing is folding over the right one probably about 3/4 of the way. And then you're folding the left one over the same amount. And you just want to be able to fold that top left piece back over toward the left onto itself now, enough to create the little opening to make the closure. So now that I feel confident that I've got it and I've got enough room for everything to work properly, I crease it down and make sure the bottom, the triangle of the right side matches and lines up with the bottom of the envelope. And the same goes over here for the left. I fold it over, make sure it's even along the bottom, and then I test it out and fold back the flap just to make sure it's going to be enough. But once you do this, if you want to keep a template of it, I can show you in a second how it's really easy to just make another one without having to fiddle. And there may be measurements and things, but I don't know them if there are. I'm not an origami specialist, but I thought in origami there, I don't know, are there measurements? I don't know. But anyhow, so yeah, I crease it down. I have enough room for my self-closure. I make all my folds nice and flat. And now we're going to fold over that top left triangle. I'd say about maybe 3/4 of an inch or half an inch, depending on the size of your envelope, really, just to proportion. And then now you take it and you just sort of open it up a little bit and then kind of push it into itself and meet the top two triangle tips together. And when it's lined up, you're going to flatten it down with a bone folder. And I wanted to mention, I used scrapbook paper, and it is thin scrapbook paper, but it is definitely thicker than your normal copy weight paper. And the thicker the paper it is, the harder it is to fold and stay shut. It's nice that it's thick and it feels quality and everything to me, but it's definitely much easier when it's really thin paper. And I would say copy weight paper would be even easier than this because this is not cardstock weight, but it's like scrapbook paper weight, and it's a little heavier than your typical printer copy paper. So there it is. It's adorable. I love it. I think it's so cute and functional. And I just wanted to show you this again in case you needed to see it. But anyhow, there's a lot of purposes for this. You can use it as an envelope and stuff things inside. You could also use it as a journaling space and take it out and write on the entire inside. So here is where you can use one as a template, and once you've got it the way you want it, the size and proportion you want it, put one to the side and just keep reusing it and line up your folds here. The other folds were really easy, but this one's a little bit more fussy, so having a template really helps speed it along. So I want to use mine as a floating envelope and a pocket because sometimes when I create my journals, I am not really sure what I'm going to do with some of the things inside, and I may want to move them around or think, oh shoot, I wish I didn't glue that down. So sometimes I just attach them this way, and when the journal is completed and as I begin to use it and write in it, I sometimes move things around because I think, oh gosh, I wish I didn't glue that there. So yeah, I've learned to do that. And here it is so far. So here's a way that you can just quickly and no fuss, no muss, just get some ink on the back of something white if the white bothers you in your journal. White doesn't bother me, but I just want to show you some tips and tricks in case you don't care for the white. A lot of people don't care to look at the white, and I totally get that. They want to see vintage and age. And so if you wanted to see techniques of really beautiful, soft, gradated ink blending effects, I will link a video below where I did some very pretty like ombre effects, and you can see a really nice way to do that. But if you want to just do it real quick to get rid of some white, don't worry about it. Just get the color down there and then you have a nice place to write. Just don't choose an ink that's too dark. And here I had a tag that came off of a like mid-century dish that I bought at a thrift store, and I wanted to remember it and keep the memory of shopping and the joy of when I found it and purchased it. And so I just put a little stamping on it to give it some personality. And here I thought, what if I tuck it in the top here and layer up some more and use the string to create sort of a leash for the stag and the beautiful lady. But then I thought, the kind of trust and love they have for each other, there would be no leash. I also wanted to mention that I did put some pearls and gave the stag a pretty little necklace just to make it more layered and more adorned and celebrate their love. And then now I had this piece of ephemera. My dad gave me a gift to a restaurant that had a gift card in that little black sleeve. But I wanted to glue down this love piece that I have from a book, I think a dictionary that I die cut out. And um, if I did that, I would be either gluing down or covering up the enjoy part. I realized I could just clip it there and flip it around, but I was just uncertain and didn't want to cover it up in any way. So I put it to the side and I had some black scrap paper and I just folded that and made my own little envelope instead. And here on that tag, I folded around a little piece of paper that I'm going to leave open for now because it's an opportunity to write a little secret journaling message and then glue it shut. Maybe you have a special wish or prayer for somebody or a blessing you want to give, and just, write it in there and put it out to the universe and seal it shut. I love to do that. And here I'm playing around with a few other things, seeing if I want to add some more ephemera. A tag that I had. Here's a turkey feather I found on a walk, and I'm considering these things, but in the end, even though it's a layered challenge, I really love the simplicity of the layering that I've done on the right side of the page already, and I'm going to call it. I think if I do any more, I'll start taking away from the featured focal point, the stag and the lady and their love. So I'm going to leave it. But on the other side, I played with a little bit more of that peach ribbon and felt it was a little too overkill for me. And instead have some packaging here that I got from something in shipping, probably Amazon, and glued down on the edge just for a little bit of texture and a little bit more of a layered effect. And I love the layered look it gives. I love the texture it offers. I also wanted to mention the way that I glued down my W. I overlapped it on purpose on all three portions to sort of anchor it down to the page. And they look so happy. They're so pretty. I love them. They make me happy and inspired. And to each his own. I also love bright colors and jewel tones as well. I'm a weirdo. I like so many different things. A lot of people have like one, sort of genre that they love, and I don't know, I like so many styles. I've always been that way. But here's just a little flip through in case you haven't seen any of my other videos of what I've made this journal of so far and the papers I've sewn in and just started decorating, and gonna continue on doing the rest of these. I love winter. For me, winter is a time of solace and a time of peace and reflection. I work a lot in the summer, so for me, winter is a really great time to rest, relax, reflect, and recharge. So I love to journal in the winter. Yeah, so here's a few pages I've already done, and I love the way that woman is looking out at the owl. Oh, and I love this too. Like, I'm new to YouTube, and I started this channel because I want to be a part of this wonderful community and build friendships. And it's always great to do that with people with like and shared interests. And so I don't know, I feel like these girls are getting to know each other here and they're friends. They're getting to be friends. And on the back, she's a journaling tag. She's just a fussy cut digital image, so you can keep it simple and use that as a journaling tag. And thank you so much for being here, and see you next time.